What's up, everybody? It's your boy Wes Grand. You're watching Urban Nerd. This channel I give my nerd reviews. On today's nerd news, I also give a movie reviews. And today's movie I'm going to be reviewing is 1917. This movie is directed by Sam Mendes, and the cinematography was done by Roger Deakins. And these people, like, first of all, for what this movie did, it's almost amazing. Like, if you haven't seen any of my reviews before, what I usually do is I kind of give you my general feel about it, then I give you my pros, and then I give you my cons, then at the end I give a grade, and then you decide if you like this review. Anyways, so yeah, this movie is starring relatively unknowns, except for two major people. One is Mark Strong, which you've probably seen in movies like Stardust, Sherlock Holmes, Kick-Ass as a bad guy, the father, and also what was that movie? Oh, Kingsman. Yeah, he's pretty much like the Q, like like the James Bond Q to the Kingsman. Anyways, it's starring him, not starring him actually. He's in it briefly, right? But another person that shows up a little bit later in the movie that's we all well known is Benedict Cumberbatch. Yeah, he shows up all of it, but this movie's mostly about these two characters. Sergeant Lance, Lance Corporal Schofield and Lance Corporal Blake. And Blake, they're given this message or this assignment that they have to get this message across enemy territory to another brigade, where to stop them from moving forward, or else they're gonna go into a trap. And if they get there, they'll save 1,600 men, including Blake's older brother. Now, this is a task that, like, you normally watching a movie like this, it's something like, okay, I kind of heard this, but to see it from their point of view and the way, which is why I gotta give it up to Roger Deakins, because the way the cinematography is done, they do it in this way called, I say, like a long shots, where they don't really cut. Like, there's movies that they do those jump cuts all over the place. No, this one, it's a camera that stays on these people all the way. It's sometimes like they're on them for like they try and basically make it seamless, as if the camera never cuts off. But you can kind of see the tricks where they did it. Like, I probably count about a good 8 times where they go behind something to show from a different angle, and that's probably the times they would probably, if you're watching it, just notice that's probably the times where they cut, let the people rest and do whatever. But except for them to get through these long shots as long as they are, amazing, because if they got it in these shots, it's like 20-30 minutes at a time sometimes, where it's literally just following them and nothing like blocking any view, and you're just watching these characters and these people act their asses off. This movie's getting some nominations for Oscars. It deserves it. The cinematographer deserves it, because these battles, these things, just seeing the battlefield the way it is, it's like a, how you say, like a train wreck you can't look away from, because it's beautiful, but it's also gruesome seeing all these things. And then the director, for him to get this off, you know what I'm saying? Sam Mendes, he, hats off to him. And the main character that kind of goes through this movie is what's his name, George McKay. He's the one that plays Sergeant Schofield or whatever, or Lance Corporal Schofield, and the stuff he goes through. And it's funny, I'm not trying to ruin it, but I'm watching this movie, and the first thing that's going through my head is like, man, look, when I see that they're doing these long shots, I'm like, how are they gonna do these long shots with these two people? Because at some point, like, they can't stick together all the time. Are they gonna split the screen? But they solved that problem fairly soon off. And not, like I said, I'm not trying to spoil it, but you'll understand what I'm talking about when I say they don't have to worry about that. The movie, like I said, cinematography was great. The sound, like the music, the orchestra, like this, the how do you say the sound? I'm not gonna say the soundtrack, but the chorus of the movie, it blended in so well. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like an Oscar nomination for the music for this movie too, because although it's not songs, just the orchestra, like, it just blended in. You felt and you understood everything when you were going through and you're showing. And like I said, this movie, it was a lot better than I thought. I went in this movie, I didn't go with low expectation. I actually went in with because I'm like, is this going to be like the Dunkirk of this year? And I'm like, yes, it pretty much is, because it blows people away what they did with this. It really is. And I'm going to tell you, like, if I had to give this movie a grade, because it isn't much talking, it's not a lot of dialogue, but the dialogue that happens, it does matter, and it makes you kind of understand people and to see what these guys go through. Although, my negatives is, if you're a soldier and like you're in the dust and you're in enemy territory, you shouldn't stand out so much. That's one thing. I'm like, okay, you're standing out in the open a little too much. Like, I'm sorry, like, if you're kind of on a run, you would probably be behind him. If you see a shadow of a person, you'd kind of hide until you see them come closer. You wouldn't just be walking out. And sure, you are amateur, but apparently, like, in the beginning, it stated he's been in war while the friend hasn't, so he kind of should know these things. So I'm like, really? But that was my only one gripe. That was only my one gripe. Otherwise, this movie was amazing. So if I had to give this movie a grade, I'm going to give this movie an A. Straight up A, because it was enthralling. Especially watching it in Adobe, but it was an enthralling movie. Like, you were kind of on the edge of your seat at some times. Like, I've caught myself like just watching this movie, and I didn't think I would. So, like I said, this movie's an A. You guys should check it out. Watch it. It is well worth your time. And remember, if you guys if you've seen this movie, if you want to talk about it, comment down below. Share this video. Tell people if you like my review. Remember to check out this check out this subscribe. Remember, check out my last movie review. Check out my playlist of movie reviews. Remember, I'm Wes Grant. You've been watching Suburban Nerd. You just been notified. Catch you guys on the next review.